Welcome, everyone, to another episode of the Emergent Gamer Podcast, episode 235. I am Trip Zero, one of your hosts. I'm here along with my other host tonight.
This is Felix Ergood.
And we're here with a very, very special guest who has not been on the episode or on the show, I should say, in roughly, what would you say, 35 episodes, something like that?
34.
Not tight about it at all.
No, not at all. This is Diamond Jab. Diamond Jab, welcome to the Emerging Gamer Podcast. Fantastic to have you back on the show.
I'm so happy to be back.
Again.
Oh, so happy to be back.
Dude, I'm stoked, man.
Yeah, because I think, right before episode 200,
yes,
you said, I'm coming back to content. You had personal stuff in your life, and you said, I'm coming back to content creation. I want to get myself back out there. And then we said, you come on a show, and you came on the show. And then we never invited.
They were not ecstatic about my first audition.
But
they were
I
don't think we like this guy.
Our secretary must have.
But I have noticed
we switched some people around, new personnel here and there.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah,
I have noticed that you've been super active in the Emerging Gamer Discord.
Yeah,
and I want to thank you personally for doing
absolutely,
that.
Man.
Being involved, being in the community, playing games with people. That's what the whole community was built for.
Hey, man. So. Locke said it in the New Year episode where essentially he was like, when you look at the product and how it's grown over time, and it's now gotten to a point where the Discord community is policing itself. And that's really where you want to get to a point where you go from building something and then crafting it and shaping it, and then you get to a point where there are people there that are kind of keeping it where it's at.
Yeah, they're carrying.
You can create what you want.
They're carrying your culture,
exactly what you want it to be, and that ends up being the case. So the fact that I'm a part of the experience, the fact that I get there are a lot of people in the Discord that don't get the chance to sit here with you guys and do it. So I don't take it for granted. So I appreciate it.
Cool,
always.
Well, we got a great show for you guys. Again, diving into 2020 with some spicy news. It's been kind of a crazy week in terms of things that have been happening, little news drops, some leaks, some information specifically intended to go out. But first, like we always do, let's chat about what we've been up to during the week. Let's start with our guest. Let's start with Diamond Jab. Diamond Jab, how has your last general gaming week have been? Or if you'd like, you can bring us through the last
recap the next
35 episodes of what you've been gaming, which is roughly probably it's definitely more
this
than
entire
half a
episode.
Year.
Can you first explain what I asked you in your chat, the acronym that you've put in front of everything?
Yeah. So a good friend of mine, Dr. Panda, found a community of streamers that are focused on content creation, partnerships, and overall very similar to your Team MC experience. The only difference is they're much smaller. When we joined, there were probably 100 of them in total. And so we joined with the idea of especially for me, more importantly, is figuring out what the current generation of streamers value and what they're interested in and what they're doing. The reason I partnered with Eastern Media GG, which is what those acronyms stand for. EMGG. They have a passion for supporting streaming, not just for themselves, but also providing a platform for military veterans as well. So they partner with StackUp. They partner with StackUp.org, which is an organization that we had. They were a GSM alumni show. They were on the show once before. And so that's how I heard about them. So when I saw them as a partner, and they're partnered with G Fuel and DX Racer and a couple others, but the moment I saw that they were associated with StackUp, immediately I knew my thought process was going to align with theirs. And so they're essentially a streaming organization that's focused on supporting content creators in whatever they want to accomplish, but also giving them experience in the corporate space. So their COO at Stannikins is now a support personality for G Fuel. So she essentially represents what streaming communities, how G Fuel interacts with them, and how they go from there. DX Racer is partnered with a couple different people, and they have representatives in that Discord as well. So it's almost like creating a direct connection to the corporate space, which is really nice. But yeah, originally I joined just to figure out exactly what the new generation of streamers wanted, but they have a huge passion for supporting military veterans, and that was big for me. So yeah, it's a streaming organization that I can kind of take ownership of and kind of just attach my name to. So it was cool.
That's awesome, dude.
Yeah, man.
But yeah, gaming.
But yeah, gaming. That's kind of what we're here for.
So let's to be fair, let's keep it to the last week.
Let's keep it to the last week.
Because, I'd love to hear about your entire 75% of the year.
You were around for most of it. So
true.
I do want to mention one thing, which was you guys were asking questions about my top 5 games of the year, because most of what I've been playing is most of what you have been playing. So it doesn't really differentiate that much. So I'm going to use my time to explain one game in particular of the 5 that you guys have highlighted, because some of them you had heard about, some of them you didn't.
If you guys are listening out there, Diamond Jab sent in some game choices and then discussion about those choices to our Game of the Year episode. He was planning to be here for that. Scheduling didn't quite line up because of trying to organize so many people on the show, unfortunately. But we did get his picks read live and his reasoning read live. So if you want to hear that, it's a great episode. Go back and listen to it. There's one right before this one, 234.
234.
But he's gonna.
But yeah,
give
so
you some personal touches right
there's
now.
all the essentially what I said about Control is exactly what I said. But the one game I wanted to highlight was Sea of Solitude, which I know no one had really played.
We didn't
no
know
one really
anything
knew what
about
it was. Sea of Solitude comes from a small company out in Germany. And it falls in the games for impact kind of genre. You're That Dragon Cancer, like games in which there's kind of an emotional sentiment to it. And it essentially chronicles the lead developers, her name is Cornelia Jeppert, her personal story of love, loss, and kind of a really important relationship in her life that kind of ended and allowed her to kind of find her identity as an individual. But it was told within the metaphor of this hub world explorative game in which your character is able to traverse the sea using a boat, and there are these giant monsters, and so essentially it's a platformer / puzzle element, but the story was so profound. Each of the monsters represented an individual in that person's life. And the way you interacted with them is the way that she interacted with them in their life. So there's an instance where this bird represents her brother who was considering committing suicide, and there's a fight, like a battle sequence where you are fighting off these monsters from the bird that's kind of in the middle, and it directly reflects a moment where in her life she showed up at her brother's school and tried to defend an action that had taken place, and she had made it worse essentially by her presence physically being there. So she had created this experience and manifested it in a game that was incredibly intriguing. But there was also an exploration element. You could swim around. The element that I loved the most was that there's like a shark or a fish or some type of giant sea monster that follows you around this whole time.
All the time.
And is a direct representation of her doubt of herself. And so as you're platforming and trying to figure out how to kind of continue the narrative, if you fall in the water, this thing kind of comes after you. So it's got this tension that I wasn't expecting out of the game. I thought it was just going to be like, it's just going to be a romp through this experience, and I do this and I jump up there and the story progresses and that's the end of it. But then right in the middle of it is this like tenuous experience of, okay, how do I get from here to there without
the shark eating
me, right? So it has an amazing balance of being a game and also saying something more.
Sure.
And the development team, I think, is only like 15, 20 people deep. It's got nice cell shade artwork, but it was one of the games that, like, it was one of the EA published games. And the thing that I said the most was, out of my top 5 games, Nuance was like the biggest thing for me.
Right.
And to be able to tell a story, have an entertaining game, and keep it at a price point that's affordable is like a golden egg of a video game. It's so hard to find. That for me, it was
the only thing I can
amazing.
think of would be Hellblade.
Yeah, like Hellblade was $30. It's an amazing looking game. It plays incredibly well,
It
and
also
it
has more
dives
to
into
say.
like
Yeah.
it has more to say.
Well, you
like
mentioned you called
they're
out
very few.
That Dragon Cancer.
That
First of all,
yeah.
that's a game. It's not as like technical as Sea of
No,
Solitude. It's more
but
of an experience.
it's still
but
incredibly
it's a game
profound.
with a story that you
incredibly
want to,
profound, and it's $5. Like so, for
Yeah.
people to experience it, it's very different. Like there's an entertainment, and then there's a personal motivation to it. So like to see both of those, to see it all come together in one product was amazing.
It's cool that we're getting more of that because as video games become more accepted as art, like to the art side of things, you have people that are compelled to make art for personal reasons, for emotional reasons, and like we're used to that concept with film, movies, literal paintings and stuff like that, writing, of course.
Yeah.
But now the video game medium being more widely accepted is drawing a wider audience of creators, people that may not have gamed years ago, and they want to use that medium to tell their story. And it's cool we're seeing the beginning of that process.
Yeah, but like it was just one of the games that blew my mind. But this week, I went back and I'm playing The Witcher on the Switch.
Nice.
The Switcher.
How does that run?
Terribly. It's it's ugly. It's terrible.
You hate it?
No. Oh, I didn't say that.
Oh, okay, go.
Oh, I love it, but how it runs is awful.
I haven't even noticed.
Is that
Would I have noticed?
But that's the
I don't
well.
know. I don't
Remember, I played it on PC first, so like I'm
got it.
PC pleb, and then I took
I don't know
12
if you
steps
would-
down
if you
to
would
the
notice.
to the bottom level.
Haven't noticed.
Yeah. But
it's having a great time out here?
but Witcher reminds me of like why I expect so much from games and why I'm constantly disappointed. Because Witcher was just like, hey, we're going to do an open world RPG and we're going to pretty much get everything right. And we're going to put extra effort into it. Like side quests have fully fleshed out cutscenes for characters.
They do.
Side quests, not even main quests.
Dude,
Like,
that's what playing the game is one of the things that I remember is just like going off the beaten path, but not feeling like I was avoiding the story.
every
It felt
mission
like I just,
felt like a main mission.
right. I just took
Like,
a
it's
decision, and that's where my character was living.
insane.
Now, yeah,
it's
crazy.
it's insane to me. But like to be able to like play it and then decide, oh, I'm going to go to bed. Oh, that's right, I can take this with me. I'm just going to walk over here and continue to
The
play. and
Switch. That's the reason that I want to play so many things on the Switch
Yeah.
because of just that portability.
Yeah,
I bought the Switcher.
And you've
love it.
been
Love it.
currently ripping it.
Not really. I'm gonna get back to it. It's really one of these things where I'm not. No offense or anything, but
Yeah.
I can't do what you just described.
Lay in bed.
I can't
play on
take it
Switch.
to bed. Otherwise, I don't go to bed, and I stay up all night. in
Oh,
bed.
I'll play for like 30 minutes and then immediately I'll pass out. Like,
Yeah.
I won't even last very long.
like I need this room
That's
to
what she said.
separate gaming from the rest of my life.
Yeah.
You know, so that like when
You walk out of this door.
when I walk out of this door, I know that it's over for the
gaming-
evening.
That's
There's
it.
no more gaming. I'm outside
I'm
of
not
the door.
doing anything else in the history of any.
Yeah.
And then the only other thing I was going to mention was while I'm not playing it yet, I play Dragon Ball Z Kakarot on Friday on the channel, and I don't usually venture into the anime realm of like games.
Yeah, yeah.
Um,
Is this a fighting game or is this a
no, it's like an open world RPG.
Oh, shit, really?
That follows like almost every instance of the
Wow.
shows.
Yeah.
Every mission is a show. Every side mission is like a spin-off show.
Yeah.
Not a spin-off show, but like a non-heavy narrative episode.
Right. Are you a Dragon Ball Z fan?
I was growing up, and then I stopped watching, and then I got back into it like more recently.
Okay.
But I hadn't really played much of anything, and then they were like, this is the game I had been waiting for. Like
Yeah.
every Dragon Ball Z game that had come out, I was like, oh, I just want it to be open world, and I fly around, and I still do the events of the show, but like it's in a world that like I can live in, and they were like, yeah, absolutely. You play as Goku, you fly around, you eat food,
Yeah.
if you're
It's-
Krillin,
look,
you drive on your little police bike and do
sounds
whatever.
sick, honestly,
and I'm
dude.
like, this is amazing, and it's an RPG, so like you train and you level up in different ways. So like it's everything I wanted for stuff like that. So I play that on Friday, and then of course Destiny, which is it's a whole nother beast.
lot of
It's
that,
a whole
huh?
It's just it gives you the shoulder shivers.
I have a lot. Well, I have a lot of thoughts about Destiny.
Yeah,
This
yeah.
is probably not the week or the podcast
Yeah.
to do it, but you know,
Yeah.
it is what it is.
You wanna go?
I'll go.
Go ahead.
Besides Destiny, this past week,
You could spend your time talking about it.
I've actually dove back into Pokemon because I never finished Pokemon, even though I loved my experience with it. I decided to like push through and I'm not at the end yet, but I'm like just kind of knocking out gyms left and right. Me and my brother over Christmas were like doing the max raid battles together. So I just have this insane inventory full of like, experience candies and like the biggest amounts, like XL experience candies. So I can just load up my Pokemon with these candies and rip through the story and then do all the post-game stuff like collecting Pokemon, which is what Pokemon really, really shines with.
Yeah.
Like the reason to keep playing the game after the game is done.
Yeah.
When you think about it, they were kind of one of the first games to really keep you in the game for the era when it came out.
Yeah.
Like, why would I play this longer than the story? For a lot of games, you didn't have a reason. But Pokemon was like, collect all 150. Oh, word? Okay.
Yeah.
So that's been my chill bedtime.
In all fairness, I've been playing games like that since Grand Theft Auto 3.
Yeah.
I went back and collected all those. What was it in Grand Theft Auto 3? Pigeons? Or no, that was 4.
That was 4.
What did 3 have? 3 had something.
Of things to collect? Oh
Yeah,
my
there was
God.
like one collectible. It was like 100 you had to collect. I don't remember.
I don't. Yeah,
Doesn't
I don't
matter.
remember what it is.
Doesn't matter.
But besides that, a real random game that I've been gaming. Portal 2.
You know me. I
back
love the
into.
super random games that people bring in.
Portal
2,
2, which was a part of the Orange Box, right?
Portal 1 was part
Portal
of the
1
Orange
was
Box,
part of the
yeah.
Orange Box, and then Portal 2 was released on its own.
But Kevin Oates has been talking about playing Portal 2 for the longest time. He played Portal 1 a while ago and has stopped there, and he has not played Portal 2 yet. So I got tired of trying to watch him play it or help him play it, so I just decided to download it one night. It was a night that I was feeling like decision anxiety, which we all know about from like Netflix or like a giant game collection. It's like, what do I want to watch? What am I in the mood for? I don't know. I have too many choices. So I was on my computer. I was downloading Final Fantasy 14 and updating that. And I was like, oh God, it's going to take forever. I haven't played in like half a year. It's got to update. I'm like, what else do I have like right now? Portal 2. Oof. So I hop back in and I forgot how good that game not only felt to play, but
For its time.
For its time, for sure, but also just guides you and teaches you in its world in a compelling way that tugs my brain forward from like a lore perspective. Because I'm always someone, and you know this, Diamond Jet, I'm always someone that wants to know like what is going on in this
What
world.
was it released on? Everything?
PS3,
PS3,
Was
Xbox
Xbox
360,
360, yeah.
and PC.
but like the hook was there. And when I first originally played this, I'm like, oh my God, they're telling you so much more about the world while keeping the game. Like the core gameplay the same, but then also the new things they introduce change your entire perception of how you play Portal. Because Portal traditionally is just like you shoot portals,
That's
blue
all- that's
and
all I
orange,
played.
That's all it
and
is.
they connect.
Yeah,
But in the sequel in Portal 2, they have new mechanics like gels that can be painted on surfaces to make you bounce or to make you slide. And that changes everything about how the puzzles are constructed and what you have to do.
How you navigate. Yeah.
And there's so many more out of bounds areas.
Because you can use like these gels to like bounce through portals.
Yeah.
Yeah.
To increase your momentum or to come through a weird angle. So it just changes how they've designed the
I
game.
could probably get that backward compatible in the box, right?
Probably.
It's probably in their
I'd
store.
imagine.
Well, with your computer, you
With
can
your
play it on PC, even with a controller, if you
Yeah.
like.
Yeah.
The game is not super demanding. You could run it
No,
on
not
your,
at all.
on your computer.
I mean, not anymore. There's also like, if you played the original Portal, I distinctly remember the emotion of like going into Portal 2, and then there's the moment where, without, I can't believe I'm going to say without spoilers for a game that's been
Yeah.
out for like,
Yeah.
8 to 10
There's
years.
some nice twists in that game.
There's
still,
some,
dude.
but there's a moment where the typical structure of Portal, in terms of like walk into a room, do the thing, go into the elevator, move up, go to the next room, just gets steamrolled by the plot,
Yeah.
and it's absolutely amazing.
It's very well done. And from that point on, the game is entirely different.
The entire game changes the moment that happens.
You know, I think it is good to assume that like there could be people checking into this episode
Correct.
who
Who
don't know
have
much about
never
video
played
games.
it.
That never played it, don't even know we're talking about an old game.
Right.
You know what I
That's
mean?
true.
Like,
Portal 2
We're-
might be new to them.
They're like, ooh,
Yeah.
what's this Portal 2
Well,
situation?
they might be like, oh wow, Portal 2. Never
Steam
even heard of
recommends
that.
Portal 2.
Yeah.
What is this? Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
But yeah, and then besides that, just like getting caught up with Destiny because
Yeah.
I've had a long kind of cold spell over the winter with the game. Just
So-
the way
so
it's
is everybody.
it's
I
kind of
never
rolling
got
out
that
its content.
impression.
Well, I mean, I love the game for what it is,
Yeah.
like for just being in the world right now. But the way that they're kind of introducing content is kind of like, to me personally, it makes me not want to play the game because they time gated a lot of stuff. And when I miss something or like I'm not there to do something on time and then I either have to rush or I've missed collecting that thing,
Can you help
then
me?
I don't care about collecting anything else.
Can you help me to understand time gated? Is that
So imagine like
that's
there's a
not
multi-part.
something that was there when I played the game?
Time gated is the
yeah, but it was there were very, very, very
Yeah.
few situations where
time gated is the intentional action of not necessarily delaying, but pausing the continuation of content to elongate your experience. So
like you have a story mission, you get like Tuesday drops, reset happens, a new story mission happens. But then at the end of the story mission, there's like a story beat that sets up more of that story, and you don't get that until next reset.
yeah, think of it this way:
Oh.
Avengers
Like that.
Endgame was time gated. Yes, you
the-
could sit through a 6-hour movie,
Right.
but instead they stopped it.
Oh, you
made
mean
you wait a year.
Between Infinity War
Correct.
and Endgame. Okay,
Yes.
sorry. I
Yes,
misunderstood what you meant.
that's essentially.
All right, I'm understanding what you're saying.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I mean, in terms of all the other things that there are to do in the season now, things that go away, and it just has me personally questioning like the motivation to do those things, and it makes me want to go back and do things that are off the grid, so to speak, where I'm not getting like direct rewards for them, and I'm not just checklisting the game. I want to go back and like do solo content or do challenging content or kind of run 980 Nightfalls for gear, like stuff that doesn't directly reward you with a triumph score or something, because I feel like a lot of it is checklist gameplay currently.
Long story short, like Bungie has made a decision on how they want to release content since they are owning their own experience, and it is absolutely going to alienate a portion of the base
Sure.
that is trying to figure out how they want to enjoy the content and how they want to play the game. I think to your point, there's a bit where it's right and a bit where there's like a jump the gun. I think people jump the gun on Devil's Room because of how easy it was, and then of course they got this escapade this week, so it's like 6 of one, half a dozen of the other in a 2-week time frame. Long story short, though,
there's a giant puzzle situation happening now that I'm not going to bore our listeners with. But if you search, Destiny 2 Corridors of Time, if you're interested at all in what's going on, there's at this point, the longest puzzle, because Niobe
yes.
Labs got
remember
solved.
it's intentional. It's intentionally long.
Sure, but
yes,
but still
it's the
across the
longest
board,
puzzle.
longest community puzzle that's ever been in the game.
Yeah.
It's currently trying to be solved, so it's a lot.
What is that called again?
It's
The
Corridors
of Time.
Corridors of Time.
Is what it's called.
And like I love that stuff. I legitimately love that stuff. I streamed for 15 hours yesterday.
Data stream for 22.
As this was starting.
23?
Yeah. That's when I called mine at 15, and then Glad. I don't know if he ended. He was still
Glad was at
online
23 when
I left to go this. I think he was still online.
T-Rex was at I think 17 when he stopped. 18. So
Who's Glad?
Glad's just a big Destiny.
top
streamer.
Destiny.
He's
He's a big
part of
Destiny.
Clan
I know
Redeem.
T-Rex.
Clan
I know
Redeem
T-Rex.
does a lot of speed runs. They have 3 world first titles, I think.
Oh wow,
They're
living his best life over there.
Yeah.
cool.
But that's my week. Obscure Steam re-downloads, and then
Did get a dope
Pokemon.
ass desk though.
I did get a dope ass desk. I got a Mojo sit stand desk, and I cable managed everything. Super crispy.
So he sits and then like Jesus, he rises.
Press a button and
when
it
he
goes,
wants to play.
Yeah, I heard.
I
And
cabled
then he
everything, by the way, to move with my desk. It's a feat of
And then
engineering.
literally, not figuratively, he after standing up when he goes to sit, he goes. He graces his desk as it goes down, and that's not a joke.
No.
He physically
I've done that.
did this action.
Yeah.
So.
So yeah, what about you? How's your week?
Do you remember your old podcast? Remember that?
Yeah. Yes.
GSM?
Yes. I remember.
Amazing.
I remember vividly.
So
GSM
I
podcast.
distinctly remember a moment that you guys were not privy to, where because I was told by somebody
Yes.
that I should.
Your
I
leads
can't-
to a story, by
and
the way,
honestly,
are
I don't
just
even remember who the
legendary.
person was, but somebody had said you should check out GSM.
Oh, okay. All right. So
I don't
we're
remember who it
rewinding
was.
that far back.
We're rewinding
Okay.
real far back.
Okay.
So
I said
So
last
I'm
week,
not
Felix, in
privy to?
gaming.
hold on,
Yeah.
I'm leading up to
Last
something.
year, sure.
Yes.
So I was told at some point I should check out these
You should
GSM
check.
guys.
You should check out GSM.
They're big into gaming.
Shout out to GSM people, by the way.
They're big in-
Haley and Key and Boozer.
Yeah, exactly. But I don't
miss
remember
y'all.
who told me that, but I did. I subscribed to your podcast at one point.
Mm-hmm.
You know, after that, I ended up subsequently listening to a bunch of episodes and then watching you guys live, right? But my initial experience was I downloaded one episode. I don't know who even was on the episode. It could have been you. It could have been anyone. And you guys were having just a debate about a sports game of some kind.
Okay.
It was some sports game that you guys were playing. It could have been football, basketball, like 2K Live or whatever.
Got you.
And I immediately turned it off because I'm like, I can't listen to this because I don't play sports games.
Yes.
Okay, what I'm leading up to is I now play sports games. And pretty ravenously.
We've all grown in 5 years.
This room, I am now off limits for 10 days while Mrs. Felix studies for an upcoming exam.
Ooh, love it.
I am now off limits from playing MLB The Show. I'm not allowed to play it.
It's because of how loud you get, isn't it?
I am an aggressive loser in that
Is
game.
this for real? Am I
Yes.
being punked
You're
right
not
now?
being
Is this
punked.
like a?
No.
Is
it's-
Neo out in the hallway?
It's really so apropos that you are on the episode because now I can talk to somebody about the show.
How are you playing the show? Please tell me this.
2019, the show. That's what I'm playing.
He's not playing a competitive Crucible match. He's not playing Call of Duty. He's not out here in a Halo tournament. No, he missed a ground ball past first base, and this man freaks out.
Oh my God. Oh
I
my
don't-
God. You need to explain fielding to me. I don't understand why the game doesn't do what I fucking want it to do.
So he's getting so heated.
Like,
just
but okay, hold
gearing
on.
up.
Let's
on
hold on. Let's can we? I understand it's only for a week. I need to rewind.
Let's
for a
rewind.
moment.
Well, we rewound
Okay.
back to GSM. So
I
we're
no, not that
bracket
far.
is-
Not that far.
already set.
How? Okay, how did
How did it start?
How did you start playing the show? I'm only coming from this because, again, this is the same dude that literally didn't want to play Resident Evil 2 anymore. This like
the last time.
how did
remember.
how
the
did I
last
get to this point?
time I will tell you this. This is the one point of prehistory that you need to know.
Yes.
I did back in the day on a few occasions prior to 2005 because the last franchise-based sports
2005?
game,
What the
the
fuck?
last
That you played.
the last franchise-based sports game I played was Madden 2005 that had Ray Lewis on the cover. That's the last one.
Okay.
Okay,
It's not a very good year.
not a very good year, but that was the last time I played
Okay.
a franchise
Yeah.
sports game. I got a $50 gift card for Christmas, and it was for PlayStation. And I'm staring at this card, and I looked at all the other titles in the PlayStation Store. Do I want to play a story? Do I want to play this? Do I want to play that? I looked at everything. I was like, I think I own everything I want to play. I said, what I don't own is any sports games. And I don't know why I got MLB The Show in my head, but there's a kid that I work with who just said he plays MLB The Show, and I had never thought about it. So then I pick up this book. I'm going through all of Stephen King's books chronologically. And he
Yeah.
did a book with this other guy named Stuart Onan that details the experience of two super fans for the Boston Red Sox going up to them winning the World Series in 2004.
In 2004.
I got addicted to this book.
Okay.
I love this book.
Okay.
And then I just said, you know what? I'll get the show. So I bought the show with this $50 gift card. So I bought the show, and
the
I bought
whole
NHL
process.
20, by the way.
This dude bought 2 sports games. What
Two
if
sports games.
He went to try hockey
Holy
when MLB
shit.
was making it too upset. That's what you typed in Discord.
And dude, and now I got a full MLB The Show. I didn't even start NHL 20. I'm not even going to do that yet. But I got a full MLB
This is blowing my
franchise.
fucking mind
MLB
right now.
franchise is running right now, bro. I am in. I did all of the preseason.
Yes.
I played every game. Nothing
Yes.
simmed. I'm managing like the budgets. Dude, I'm making the trades. I'm doing the lineups. I don't even know if I'm doing them right. I am obsessed with this game. Now, because I don't know a lot of the newer players,
Yes.
I did a fantasy draft with legend players.
Okay.
So, like, on some teams, Ty Cobb, Nolan Ryan, Babe Ruth, these amazing, outstanding pitchers are on these teams, and they are destroying me.
Yes, because they're
I didn't even know Babe Ruth was a pitcher until I started playing this
he
game.
was a pitcher for a short period of time.
Yeah,
the
when he was on the
first
Boston Red Sox.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, what in the fuck
amazing.
is happening? Yeah, but we're 9-8, and I'm currently in a game.
We
We're 9-8.
The fact that you said we is
the
so
fact
good.
that he immediately turned into press conference mode and was just like
that literally is the
he
post
was just like right at the, he was like, you know what, we're 9
doing
and
what we
8.
need to do. You know, we got to get the feeling back
The
together.
game I'm currently playing right now, which
Holy shit.
I turned off because I was.
Oh my god, that's funny.
Dude, the game just produces so many errors, and I don't know how to stop it. How do you stop errors?
Does the game produce errors, or do you produce errors?
Okay, this
'Cause
is
I
what
feel
I
like.
This is
So,
what I
I
observe.
feel like
This is what I
it's a
don't
small
like.
semantic
Let
argument.
me observe, and then I think I can answer his question.
Okay. When I'm up at bat,
Yes.
and I hit something, it's
Yes.
either a home run, right? It's either a home run,
Yeah.
or it's a pop out.
Yes.
And I've even messed with the sliders to decrease pop outs. It's either a home run or a pop out. I'm getting scores because
You're
of
never
home
getting
runs.
a ground ball. You're
never
never.
had a line
I'm
drive,
barely
you've hit-
getting ground balls, and
Okay.
I don't know what I'm doing wrong with that. And the computer has no errors in fielding. They literally everything I pop out, dude. I can shoot something like a line drive, and that's in the air, not on the ground, in the air. And if it gets near their shortstop, he catches it in his mitt. No
And
error, no
immediately
fumble,
is
no
out.
nothing.
Yeah.
Now, my players, on the other hand, being controlled by fucking me, will fumble everything like they're goddamn playing fucking Little League.
Okay. So.
And I don't know how to stop them from doing that.
So I'm trying. The last show,
Yeah.
the last MLB the show I played was, I think, 2017 or 2018. I remember that one year they added a difficulty level to the entire thing
Called dynamic.
called dynamic, and
Which
so it
I have it
adjusts
on.
based on what you have. The other thing is that errors are based on the stats of the player. So if the fielding stat of the player is below a certain threshold, it increases the likelihood of errors. It doesn't increase the likelihood of like throw strength or anything like that. It literally is a direct correlation to errors. At least that's what they used to do. I don't know if they still do it.
Let me qualify it with a good question.
Okay.
If I let the ball go,
Yes.
and I let the ball go into the field, and it comes down, will the fielder run to it without me touching the actual stick? Because often,
if-
I fuck everything up because I'm controlling the
Because
stick.
you're controlling the player.
Will he move automatically for me?
I don't know. In past games, you had to press a button to take over the fielder, or the fielder would do it themselves.
Well, they would do it
They
themselves
would
if
do
you
it
didn't put
themselves.
anything on.
But I don't. I haven't played
Okay.
recently to know.
That's
other
okay.
than experimenting and
But yeah, I just get so
my mind
frustrated
is
that
blown right now.
I get so
He's
sorry.
deep in it.
I get
My
so
man's
frustrated that like today I was up like 7-4 in a
Okay.
game. It was amazing. I was like, I'm 7-4. That game turned into an 8-8 game, and it happened because of like error after error after error that my players were doing in the field. Playing like
Bro,
little leaguers.
Baseball is a long grind. I cannot wait to see this guy 140
I
games
was gonna
in.
say it's a lot of games, dude. It's a lot of games.
Holy shit!
That's what I'm saying. I only
God, I
played
can't wait.
15 so far.
That's
9 and
140
8,
games worth
17
of
games.
errors and fucking giving up leads
A
and
lot of blood pressure.
woo, can't wait.
How is it? Have you gotten better at dealing with the potential turns in the tide?
Not really. I'm a rage monster.
But he's 9 and
fucking
8
rage
though,
one.
so like it's not.
This is not really.
He's not. It's not
It's-
impossible. Like he's one.
No. I've learned that I have to lay off pitches. I can't swing at everything.
Yeah.
You know, I've learned that. You know, some of them are
Welcome-
just
welcome
some
to
of them-
baseball.
Some of them are just balls. That's what they are.
Lessons, life lessons.
Some guys
Some of
are
them
throwing
are-
grapefruits out there. I mean, it's
Yeah.
not a big deal.
I feel,
Keep your eye.
I feel
on
like
the
these
ball.
are all terms that he's heard from the commentators.
My vocabulary.
He doesn't even know what it means.
No.
They're throwing grapefruits. I don't. Never heard such a phrase before.
In
but
my defense, that's not from the commentators. That's from
Oh, okay.
that's from the movie A League of Their Own.
it is. Oh
Yes. So there it is. That's what I've been doing mostly. for
That
this week.
is.
Other than
We're 9 and 8.
That's a mind blowing situation. Holy shit.
they came out with the third DLC pack for expansion for Marvel Ultimate Alliance 3,
I can't.
which
I
is called
can't.
Rise of the Phoenix and
I
released.
can't.
No, it's okay. You don't have to. I am. Don't worry.
If that game frustrates the shit out of me so much.
Why did you get frustrated?
No, not from playing it. It's I paid for a DLC. They kept the initial X-Men characters behind Like you had to be a certain level to get
Got
them
it.
in the tree. And then
Oh, you mean you have to play through the story far enough to
like get them, right? So that's one thing. I was already far enough, so I'm not worried about it. But then I couldn't and I consider myself a competent gamer. I couldn't understand what I was supposed to do with this content because it was an entirely different menu. So then you went to the menu and then it was like, well, you can like the vampire one. The
Curse of the Vampire.
Curse of the Vampire. It was like you could replay through the story with this debuff. And I was like, okay, but that's just a debuff. Why is this why did I pay for an entire DLC for what is arguably just one debuff and a couple characters?
What do you mean you played through?
So in the Rise of, or whatever the hell it's called, the Curse of the Vampire, one of the modes is you play back through the campaign with the debuff.
Nightmare mode.
Nightmare mode. It's just a higher difficulty with a debuff.
Sure,
is all it
but
is.
It's that and then characters, and they sold that as a DLC.
And that was a DLC. The next
You were
DLC,
expecting a story.
That's what I was expecting. So then
So
I was
was
like,
I.
all right, you know what? It's a mode, whatever. I'll give them that. Now the Phoenix one has come out,
Same thing.
and it's just an arena mode. Is all it is. I'm like, why are we introducing game modes?
How much were these DLCs?
The season pass was what was it?
20.
$25,
Flat
$20,
20.
flat
20.
So I'm not frustrated on the money I spent. What I'm frustrated on is this is my own. You'll learn this about me. Like, this is my own issue. I actually enjoyed Ultimate Alliance 3, and the season pass content is making it harder for me to defend the enjoyment to others because I can't recommend it because I'm not enjoying it.
Right.
So it's like this weird situation of like,
No, I saw that and I was like, you know what? Only but the most grindiest of gamers who likes to grind things will enjoy this.
but that's like,
I knew that. when
but
I saw
it's
it.
just it's a bit of it's not a 180. It might as well be a 90-degree turn from like the grindiness of the base game is one thing, but it wasn't like I could wrap my head around it. These are a little different.
You'd recommend the game without the DLC?
Yeah. Yeah. So
Right,
far,
yeah.
I haven't gotten anything that like makes me say, "Oh man, I'm glad I spent."
Well,
$20
you did get the introduction of that store that you don't use like real currency for. You use like fake currency to get newer skins, and they're updating it with different skins. Did you know?
Yeah, but they also added the store to fix the problem that they had for their internal issue of XP cubes.
Oh, is that what you?
Yeah,
that's why
I think is why they introduced the store. Say what you will about the skins,
because people ran out of the ability
people
to
ran
get
out of
them.
XP cubes, so they couldn't level up their there's 35 characters in the game.
No, was it just? Was it no?
No. So you earn gold in the game. That gold was going into leveling up a character. Well, the XP cubes were leveling up a character, but like buying abilities, right?
Right.
And then you could respec characters if you wanted to. I don't understand respecking them because it's the same 4 abilities. So
Never
it doesn't
never
matter.
did it once.
Never did it once. But the issue was that as I was playing it and they introduced the store, when I got done the campaign, I had 4 really strong characters, but I had a bunch of rifts where getting extra content for other characters required them to be leveled up. So if I want a Spider-Man skin, Spider-Man has to be level 20. If I beat the campaign without touching Spider-Man at all, guess what? This dude is level 6. So I have to go back through and use him.
There was only one way to do it.
There was only one way to do it.
There were certain rifts that you could spam.
Yeah, so I could farm rifts.
Farm rifts.
So that was the process. And this store lets you use the gold to level up another character without having to run through the whole
So
story.
they introduced a store for you to spend gold to get XP cubes. I think, and you could correct me if I'm wrong, the highest XP cube, there was a finite amount you could buy. You could only buy like 10 of them or 20 of them.
Ever or per day?
Ever.
Or
Total.
ever.
So
Account
only
base
small and medium cubes you could buy in an infinite amount, which means you had to buy this insane amount to get to a level where I could then use them in a rift.
Here's the thing, and maybe this is just me, like playing the game and figuring out the
played
meta.
more, so
I
like
figured out the meta.
I'm in this weird space.
You don't need You start to learn that you don't need XP cubes after you get ISO 8s that drop team XP.
Yeah.
And if you load all 4 slots, well, you don't start off with 4 slots. You get 3 slots.
You get 3 slots.
Each character has 3 slots for an ISO 8 cube, and each one of them can do a 100% team XP.
Yeah.
So it's 300% for each character. Yeah. And if you load your characters with that, they level up.
Yeah. Instantly. Like 5 minutes they level up.
Yeah.
But it's getting to that point.
It's getting to that point that was a hump of a grind. But now that I have all 4 slots for all the characters, and so 400% XP, team XP, that's 1,600% high leveling up. That's 1,600% more I level up.
Right.
So I'm watching the new characters that just came out. Like, I've already got most of them almost to 200.
I have not gotten a single character since the DLC started.
Yeah.
Since any DLC.
Right.
I didn't get any from
Well, they're
the Curse
easy
of the
to
Van.
unlock, though.
They are.
They are easy to
But
unlock.
you have to be at that
You got to
point.
do the
Yeah.
gauntlet thing.
Yeah.
That's where they unlock. But anyway, we didn't have to go off on a tangent on this. I was just telling you that
I'm very passionate
that I
about
played
the
all
game
that.
because I actually enjoyed it, and it's the one Nintendo game that I haven't been able to recommend.
Got it.
Makes sense.
So
Cool,
Oh,
guys.
I did. This is real quick. I'm not going to a thing about it because I know you hate Fallout 76. I get it. But I wanted to tell you that I signed up.
It's like 80 was here.
I signed
already
up for the
stepped into the transition, and then I'm just falling all over the.
Dude, I signed up for the Wastelanders beta. That's closed. It's a closed beta
Sure.
Okay.
for the new thing coming out.
Yeah.
So I'm not going to be able to say anything on here.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
You know, because they specifically say don't bring any of this up on streaming. Like,
Okay.
There's
I
an
was-
NDA for it?
yeah, there's going to be an
I was about to ask
NDA
because
and
usually
everything.
at a beta point, they're saying at that point, yeah, stream it, whatever, talk about it.
Totally
because
says
Yeah.
closed beta, NDA. You're not able to stream
that
it.
to me doesn't bode well. They're like, please keep the lid on this shit show. Personally, dude.
I agree.
We don't want
agree.
our
Well,
common bugs
yeah,
publicized.
get your fucking
I'll see if I get invited.
get your hat on, dude. You get your like debug hat on, your
man.
QA hat. Get in
Nail
there
it.
and
Just dive. Just
don't be like, this is
dive
great.
right in there,
I'm
man.
shooting new things. Be like, this sucks, and here's why.
Okay, I'll do it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I have
make
no
the
problem.
game better for
That's the
every
way it
human
gets
in the
better.
world.
I want to. And they're going to give me like a thing. Do they normally give you like a way to like communicate
Yes.
the
Yeah,
bugs?
there's
I've been in no alpha, beta, whatever test without a dedicated forum, especially if they say don't talk about this anywhere. They're going to give you somewhere that you can talk about it.
Feedback.fallout.wastelanders.org.
Yeah, exactly. All right, let's get into the news.
Thank you.
For the week. You're welcome. You're quite welcome. I wish you all the luck with Fallout 76.
Jesus.
Definitely let us know how that goes when you can.
When I can.
When you can. We've had a couple things pop up this past
We
week
did.
or so.
Yeah.
Some have been actual news points. Some have been slight leaks.
Yeah.
I think one of the things that I want to talk about, first of all, because I'm very, very excited for it, we have more Resident Evil 3 remake
These
details.
dudes are just churning out.
here, dude.
As am I
Biohazard
excited
games.
about this.
I know. Are you going to rip
These
through
dudes
this
are-
one as much as the?
Dude, I
RE2?
have the fucking pre-order set. I'm
Yeah.
ready to play it.
Yeah, I surprisingly I'm gonna play it. 2 I liked, but I'm not really a huge Resident Evil fan.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
okay. But 2 I actually kind of
Fucking loved
enjoyed.
it.
So like it was okay. I thought it was all right.
They've dropped a couple trailers. It looks fantastic. Another
Yeah.
team was working on this alongside Resident Evil 2, so it was
cranking
ready
this shit out, man.
instead of waiting multiple
a couple
years
years,
behind. There was a Reddit post with a PlayStation Magazine UK Resident Evil 3 interview,
Yeah.
and this is kind of the summary of some of the things they've talked about that are coming
Yeah.
in the game. One of the coolest things that I think right off the bat is that Nemesis,
Uh-huh.
because if you're unfamiliar, Resident Evil 3 has a character called Nemesis that its mechanic was to essentially pop up when you were least expecting him and either fight him like a boss or run away. And
Whatever
escape.
you wanna do.
And he
Yeah,
was
it's-
like a major big bad in the story. Nemesis in this game will use an improved version of the AI developed for the Tyrant of Resident Evil 2 remake,
Mr. X. Yeah.
which we all know as Mr.
I don't
X.
want to. I don't like the word improved in that.
Improved AI. This thing is going to come through the fucking wall at
Yeah.
you no matter where you are.
Yeah, dude.
So that's going to be awesome.
It's gonna
and
be
scary.
fucking terrifying.
Sound will be very important in a city like Raccoon City. You will have to rely on it to anticipate dangers lying in wait around the corner.
Oh god.
I'm a big fan of sound design. Really good sound.
Yeah.
That's actually why we talk about this. And it's
Yeah.
going back more than a year, but it's why one of the reasons. Sorry, less than a year. One of the reasons I didn't like Anthem because I thought the sound design was absolutely terrible.
For detection, yeah, it was terrible.
Confirmation that we will visit the streets, the shops, the Stagla petrol station, the Raccoon press offices, the hospital. locations from the game people are familiar with.
Yeah.
Nemesis was created in real life to be able to be scanned via photogrammetry.
No, thank you.
So shit's gonna
That's
look
disturbing as fuck.
Shit's gonna
to me.
look real, dude. In a real way.
I want to be the person who worked on his teeth. Just like
Exactly.
that fucking jawline that
Yeah.
comes out.
I would take probably the skin glisten job. That'd be probably pretty good.
the spritz job.
Yeah, exactly. Get them wet. We're taking pictures. Mercenaries mode will not return.
Hey.
The mutant worms will be back. Carlos will be playable. These are things that just Resident Evil fans are freaking out about. There will not be the action choice mechanism as in the original, which could give different sequences of the game afterwards or an advantage over a danger. There will also be no more endings. It will therefore be interesting to know who will fly the helicopter at the end of the game and whether Nikolai, spoilers,
Okay, so like
will survive or
yeah,
not.
so
So,
it's
like-
it's a structured
yeah.
ending. Yeah.
Yeah, you're not going to be able to like do alternate paths.
Who
and
does
get
this?
difference.
Yeah.
It's cool,
So
man.
that's how does that differ from Resident Evil 2 as I played it recently?
Well, there's going to be one game experience. So,
So there's not going to be a Jill A and a Jill B.
well, actually,
That I don't know.
It
They
didn't
don't
say
specify.
that, but they said that like there aren't different endings. There's probably not different things.
So
you can do
yeah,
to get
in
a different
there was
close to
in
your story.
in Resident Evil 3 there was like a choice mechanism in the game that would alter who was on the helicopter, what happened to the helicopter, stuff like that. At the end of the game,
Well, then that would
they're
be,
moving forward with a structured narrative. So
that would
Resident
be
Evil fans wanna see
in
what the
line
ending
with
is.
how the Resident Evil 2 remake.
Correct. Yeah.
Because the ending was pretty much the same for every
It
character.
was the same for every character.
Yeah.
Just the structure.
yeah,
Cool.
that's exciting. That's coming out very very soon.
April.
That's April.
April.
God, April what? It's 3rd.
I
It's
don't
April.
know. I
No,
think
it
it's-
is.
it's
It's
like-
April 3rd.
yeah.
Whew, man. We've got some delays also. Final
We do.
Fantasy VII remake
Wow, surprised.
got delayed.
Surprised.
Actually, yeah, I thought this close to release, they were like, everything is just totally fine. That's another game that was actually going to come out in the spring. That was scheduled
Yeah,
for March 10th.
March.
Now, that's April 10th.
Yeah.
So we have April 3rd, RA3 remake.
Yeah.
April 10th,
Final
Final Fantasy VII remake.
Yeah.
April 17th, Cyberpunk 2077.
What?
April's going to be amazing.
April's
I'm just going to take the
fuck,
whole month
dude.
off.
Yeah.
Like, at this point, I'm not going to go to work.
Yeah.
Uh,
April's thick, brother.
Wait, did Resident Evil 3 get pushed back?
No.
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 So
No,
that,
that's-
that was already in April.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, I didn't know that.
Yeah. But me personally, I was excited to have a month for Final
I
Fantasy
don't,
VII between that and Resident Evil.
I don't know if I'm going to get it immediately,
Seven?
right off the bat. Yeah, I just don't know if I'm ready to spend $60 on the first disc.
Oh, I am.
I just,
Fuck me up,
I
Klaus.
I don't know
Let's
if I'm
go.
ready to spend $60 on disc one.
Yep.
of-
How many discs was the
there's
original?
what was it, 3?
3 discs.
Yeah.
On the OG, so 3 releases.
3 discs full of
What was
content.
that?
Yep.
PlayStation 1?
I kind of
or 2?
want to see what's out there first.
Yeah.
Was that PlayStation 1 or 2?
It's PlayStation 1.
1.
Yep.
Yeah. But yeah, so like not that I don't want to get it, but I'm gonna wait and see what people say, where the end point is for the game, and then
That's
decide
smart.
if I want to
That's
experience
smart because like that's. I mean, I'm bought in on these day one for all of them for sure. But I'm also mega curious. If I were to be curious about anything,
Yeah.
it's where are they going to choose to cut?
because I already know like where are you gonna stop, and then when am I?
Where are you going to stop
Yeah.
the story? And it's interesting from a storytelling perspective too. Almost in a more extreme way, but still a similar thought process of like, where do I insert a commercial into a movie if I were to cut this for TV? Like, how do you stop a story?
How
That's
do you stop a
constantly
story
flowing,
right away? Yeah, where's
know?
the best?
So
place
it'll be
stop
interesting to
it?
see how they do it, and I hope that they do it well because
Do you remember the story of that game so clearly because you played a remake recently, or do
No.
you remember the story of that because it was that?
I
Vibrant.
remember the story because in my youth it was good. Now it's
There are games
now,
that
now
I played in
it's-
my youth that I have no recollection
Well,
of the
now
story.
now older, it's a questionable story because I question stories all the time. So like, looking back on it now, it's not an amazing story. It's
No,
okay.
I was just wondering how you
but that's the
remember it.
reason I remembered it was because it was one of the first games. I like to tell people Final Fantasy VII prepared me to appreciate Metal Gear
Metal Gear.
in how it took concepts that were a little more adult themed
Oh, for sure. For the age we were playing
and
that, absolutely.
presented it in a way that was applicable for me to understand it.
Mm-hmm.
So Final Fantasy VII prepared me for like when I played Metal Gear and they were talking about like, hey, this is what this is how much war costs across the globe. Like, we're trying to
Or the
sell
real-
Metal Gear Rex to everyone.
Well, they
I'm
also
like,
went down this hyper detail. The START treaties were signed in 19.
Yeah, and I'm like,
playing as a kid watching like
as
a
a
black
kid,
and white
I don't give a shit about
missile
any of
launching
these
into the sky. I'm like, what
treaties
the
or
fuck?
any of this. But it prepared me for, okay, as someone younger, how do I understand what any of this is, and how do I translate it to a way that I can enjoy it? So that's why I remember it. But there's also like the core reality of, do I want to spend $180 if they choose to break it up in 3 discs on a game that, even though it's packaged differently, I've experienced already.
Right.
The counter argument to that is, in March, I'm buying Persona 5 Royal, which is essentially the re-release with a little more new content of a game that came out 2 years ago.
You're getting
so I can't really, I really have no leg to stand
You
on
are
in
getting
this
a
situation.
DLC
I'm getting
for
one.
that game.
I'm paying $60 for one DLC
Yeah.
because I love that game so much. So like, it's all, that's why
It's whatever you find
I
valuable.
relate to where he is. Like, I'm gonna buy it. I don't really care how they release it. $180. Here's my money. I'll experience it. It'll be amazing, and that's the end of it.
P5 or P5R. That soundtrack slaps.
It's all day.
Next, we got Pokemon Sword and Shield expansion
Yes.
news. We're getting 2 expansions coming up in this year, later this year. There's one expansion pass you can purchase for $30 on the eShop. That includes both the June and fall 2020 releases. The June release is called the Isle of Armor, and the fall is the Crown Tundra. Altogether, more than 200 Pokemon being introduced into the games.
And that was the only sentence I needed to understand that article.
I'm hoping they continue to do this.
200 more
I'm hoping
Pokemon
they just
coming.
build on this, because I think it's
I knew
a great
people were
sentiment.
pissed about the lack of Pokemon.
That's one of the things they're pissed about.
They
yeah,
were like,
for
"What
sure.
the fuck?" Well, some of
It
my
definitely
favorite
didn't feel like
ones aren't there.
like it definitely didn't feel like I use 150 in my threshold,
In
Yeah.
your Pokedex.
in my well, mentally, like, if
Yeah.
okay, 150 is
Your
the number that
mental
in the ear
Pokedex.
test. Yeah, the ear test makes sense.
I'm learning terms.
But if I gotta find a zigzag zoom 60 million times, it's gonna feel like there's only 40 Pokemon in the
Right.
game.
Yeah, exactly.
Because I'm fighting the same one. I'm 3 towns in, and this thing is still in the bushes.
It's true.
In a completely different region. I'm like, what's going on here? Like, can I get some diversity?
Yeah, so people like a big, huge Pokedex because it provides variety in what you find.
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
One of the cool things they're doing with this expansion cycle, well, actually, it's the first time Pokemon's had an expansion, I'm pretty sure. People that don't have the expansion, therefore don't have the areas and don't have the story content and can't catch these things themselves, can trade for them still.
Well, that's
That's
nice.
nice.
It's great. It increases the Pokedex for everybody, really.
That's nice.
Gives the opportunity to experience the new story additions and the new Pokemon to the investors.
That kind of gives you a peek behind the curtain, though, because technically the game you have in your possession has everything in it.
Well,
You just didn't pay for it.
If we go
shit.
down that road, then
That's
we're going
a-
back
yeah,
to the
that's a-
advent of microtransactions.
Of
And since someone
microtransactions,
going,
yeah.
cut content, blah blah blah.
Yeah,
you know,
you're not paying and then they're adding. You're paying and then they're just opening the
they're
exe
allowing,
file that
yes,
allows you
yes.
to, yeah.
You're
so.
paying and they're allowing.
So technically
But
you
that's-
have 200 Pokemon. You just didn't pay for it.
That's how we play games.
That's
these
how we
days.
play games.
So, yep,
Making me
that's-
think differently about that Fallout First membership.
No, he's not.
No,
No,
I'm
no
not.
one. No,
No, I'm not.
no.
You're
no.
already there. That didn't change a
You're
single
2
thing.
Fallout First memberships, you psycho. For different game
dude's crazy.
platforms.
Yes, I go.
Batman
Yes.
got teased. This was an official leak. Speaking of leaks and directs and all kinds of
Yeah,
stuff.
yeah. This was
This
official.
was officially leaked, announced by WB on their Twitter. Now you know more about this than I think. Probably,
I don't know that symbol. I think that symbol would be more familiar to comic book readers or fans of
I'm not gonna say anything. I'm just gonna keep my mouth.
fans of the
What,
Batman.
what do you mean you're not gonna say anything?
Do you know? I geek out over this shit.
Do you?
So I'm just gonna.
Well, so
Well,
Felix is
then
our
please
resident.
say it.
Is our resident Marvel superhero.
Well,
person. And I'm the person
I'm
on the
your
show who's like,
resident Arkham game player. I played them all.
you've played them all
so
for
did-
sure.
yeah, so did I.
So enlighten us on. People think this is related to the Court of Owls. Do you know
Yes.
what the Court of Owls is?
Yeah,
Tell
I
us
do.
about the Court of Owls.
So it's. I'm interested to see what Warner Brothers does with this, because they've gone the route of a prequel before. With,
They did.
with what was that?
With Origins.
Arkham Origins. But the thing that is interesting here, the Court of Owls is essentially like this weird organization that just kind of exists somewhere else. If you think of like the League of Assassins, just
They're like the Bilderbergs.
they're like
The Batman Bilderbergs.
It's fucking what they are. Yeah. I made him laugh.
I'm laughing
Hashtag-
because
hashtag Illuminati.
it's so goddamn accurate.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's essentially what they are.
Yeah.
And the dynamic that I'm still trying to figure out is I don't know if the community, and this is what intrigues me, I don't know if the community cares about a game that does not follow up on the post-Arkham narrative. If this follows up the Arkham Origins narrative, I don't think people care about that
Right.
at all.
Right.
Or
But-
else
but-
Arkham
Is there a
Origins.
chance
But I
it just
seem to
starts from scratch?
I
I don't know. It depends on what they're doing. Like,
But here's the thing. I don't really remember the Arkham Knight game ending with. I thought like that ended with like a definite finality.
it did. I'm not saying it didn't. What I'm saying is we're now years beyond the Arkham series. What is this game going to represent to the players that are returning to a Batman game?
Right.
Does it represent a new start? Does it represent a continuation? Or does it represent a continuation of a game that people didn't really... It's not that they didn't care, but Arkham Origins, they put out on the,
They did it with
the Wii.
But they did it with Arkham Origins. Like at that time, Arkham City had come out, and the narrative
Correct.
didn't push forward.
And then they
said-
stopped it. They introduced Arkham Origins with a different voice actor for Joker. It was Troy Baker.
Troy
at the
Baker
time.
did it. Yeah,
It
It
really?
was still good,
it was great.
but a lot of people didn't like the fact that there wasn't a continuation because all it did was give you an extra section of the city, but it was the same city from Arkham City,
Yeah,
pretty
it was.
much.
Yeah, they were just building on
Just
that.
one
Yeah.
extra section. And so a lot of people, it didn't resonate the same way Arkham City had done because that had won Game of the Year.
Mm-hmm.
And this one wasn't even remotely close to the conversation. Then you got Arkham Knight to kind
I
of close
love
everything out.
You
So,
know what I loved about Origins? The snow.
yes, they
I
did snow
loved-
much better
I loved
than
how
what they
there was
than what they did
how
in the
the,
past.
the whole city was painted in snow.
So I'm intrigued. The fact that it's Montreal is exciting, but I'm intrigued nonetheless on why Warner Brothers thinks now is the best time to do another Batman game.
Well, they haven't. It's been how many years since the last one?
I mean, yeah,
Well, there
but
were
I
a
mean,
lo-
there's
there
been
were a lot of rumors. That
there's
there
been a
was gonna-
Superman game that apparently they were talking
That
about.
was a
There was a
rumor,
Green
yeah.
Lantern game that
There
was
was
in
rumors that there was a
discussion.
whole Justice.
There was a
League
whole.
game.
They were going to do a whole Justice League thing. So I'm interested to see why they feel the need to do Batman again, and that's kind of
Unless they're doing all of those, and
Yeah,
they're trying to put them
it's-
together
I'm-
into a
yeah.
big thing, and
yeah.
I don't
So, not that it's a bad thing. And Court of Owls is an incredibly amazing narrative that has to do with like nuance and the financial impacts of Gotham at large. And they love to paint Thomas Wayne as this like terrible person, and Bruce is essentially fighting like generations of control.
it might introduce
so-
Damian Wayne.
Yeah, so like the idea behind it is how does the man with the most money in the world and with an identity that he keeps secret to keep people safe, how do you fight against generations of people that have been doing that already? Technically, they have a ton of money, secret identities, and they've been influencing society for years.
Yeah,
So where does if Batman's
And
not
they
the biggest player on the chessboard, what is he?
they
then?
show up
Right,
in.
so.
They show up. There's an animated movie that I watched because I have no experience of them with the comics, but there's an animated movie that they made in the last like 10 years that featured Damian Wayne as a main
Yeah.
character. And do you remember the name of that one?
I don't remember the name, but I know what you're
I
talking
think it was
about.
the blood one, the one
Yeah.
with blood in the top. Bad blood. I think it was.
Yeah. But yeah, so I'm interested. I'm intrigued.
Yeah, we'll see. There's no release date on that, I believe. Currently,
No,
just
that is
teasing
just
out. the
It's
content.
literally they threw that shit out and said,
Yeah.
well, "Let's see
Let's
what
find
people think
out.
about it."
And then last up on our leak list here is a potential leak for a game called Assassin's Creed Ragnarok.
Jesus Christ!
So here's the thing. What has happened
You're
is a
out.
couple of. Hold on. Before we dive in to
not
the
out, but
discussion,
go
let's
ahead.
get the news out first,
Yeah,
then we'll
let's
dive
Get the news out.
in. We know for a fact that this game exists because multiple retailers have posted.
There was also that
exists.
fun little Easter egg that showed up in The Division. 2.
Yes.
Yeah, forgot
We
about
stopped-
that.
we stopped
Yeah,
playing.
Yeah.
No offense to
Not-
Division.
Not in my heart.
Not in. We weren't there.
But there, in addition to this, to these retailers posting about this game that's been removed, there was a leak on 4chan. So, of course, take that with a grain or two of salt. From someone claiming to work with the company and know about what's going on, and listing a whole bunch of things that this game is going to have and how it's going to improve on previous Assassin's Creeds.
If you're gonna leak stuff, why 4chan? Like, why not go to Kotaku or why just Reddit in general?
Yeah,
why?
It's a good thought process.
Why go to 4chan of
But,
all places?
you know,
It's
terrible.
just odd.
Yeah.
But
Some-
continue.
Some of the
sorry.
things that they highlight are a 4-person cooperative mode, drop in, drop out, like
I 1,000,000%.
Don't like
Ghost
that.
Recon.
Not gonna happen. Not gonna happen.
Oh, not going to
You think
happen,
it's
or
not
one
true?
one.
Absolutely not. I think it's 100% not true.
Oh, interesting.
They did it for Unity, and Unity was garbage.
Yeah, Unity was a failure.
Unity was garbage. I think Ubisoft does not. Not saying there won't be multiplayer.
Yeah.
We
But
hated
I'm
that
not
game
saying
mode.
I don't think it's in the.
4-person
I don't
drop
think
in,
it's
drop out.
in.
You're not doing that.
We hated that.
I'm not saying. Okay, let me step back for a sec. I'm not saying it's not there.
Right.
I just don't think it's there in the way that they are portraying it. It wouldn't surprise me if they did a 4-player co-op with like ship battles or something like that.
Yeah.
Like that wouldn't surprise me. But drop in, drop out 4-player in Unity was abysmal. And the fact that they're even remotely considering doing it again.
Look, they
Blows
could have
my
learned from
mind.
it, and that's definitely the vibe. More so nowadays than when Unity was a new game.
This is a 2-year dev time, so like
Maybe.
there is that.
We'll see what happens. You mentioned ship usage, ship sailing combat.
Yes,
That's
yes.
making a return.
Yeah.
Apparently with less focus on actual combat and more sailing, exploring,
Yeah.
getting from place to place.
Black Flag did that. And that was
God, I love Black Flag. I'm about to
Flag.
buy that on the Switch, speaking of games on your Switch, because I love
Oh, you mean the
fucking
Rogue-
read
the
my
Rogue.
mind, dog,
Yeah.
because
the
it's
Black
there. I
Flag
was
Rogue
like,
combo? I almost bought that
Those
shit.
are the two
That shit
best,
is $40.
two
and
best
it's
games.
a steal.
Two
2
best-
seconds away from buying
two
it.
best AC games
Yeah.
right there in the collection.
And I was like, I cannot be playing these right now. I bought
Apparently-
the Switcher.
That's true.
Apparently, this map in this Ragnarok game is ridiculously big, covering most of Northern Europe,
They always are.
including full cities of Paris, London, and Kiev. That's that's Russia all the way down
Ragnarok.
to Great Britain. So
Pretty sure Paris and London were not a thing in Ragnarok days.
well,
But
maybe, dude, maybe.
I couldn't even tell
So
you.
yeah,
couldn't
it's
even tell you.
essentially this is a summary,
just
but there's
has a
an
past
entire
name.
list
Yeah.
of things. You can find this online. You can find it on.
Yeah.
Don't go to 4chan. It's not. you
just,
never- you
yeah,
find
go
nothing
to
good on
go
4chan.
anywhere else before.
Just Google the news and kind of read through some of the.
There's some horrible
hints and
shit
things.
on 4chan.
I still
Um,
go ahead.
Yeah.
Finish your-
Well, just the Hidden Blade is back. People were complaining about the fact that you couldn't like stealth kill and have to do more RPG stuff. But RPG mechanics are in the game, and apparently, reportedly, more like Skyrim in the way that you use your
use a
abilities
certain
and you
thing and
gain
then it- yeah.
skills in what you use to play. So
well, maybe
maybe
they listen to the criticism.
it sounds like
Yeah,
what
I
you would
don't-
expect for an iteration where you get
I don't think I've ever-
improvements, some new maps, stuff like that.
I don't think I've ever had a 180 on a game franchise like I had with Assassin's Creed.
Oh, I haven't touched
I
any of the
stopped
new
playing
ones.
that shit like it was.
What was your last one?
Okay, the last one I conceivably truly put an effort into, or the last one I played, because the last one I played was
Syndicate, right?
Was no, the last one I played was whatever the most recent one was.
So you
the
played
last
them
one
all.
I
You played
played them
Odyssey.
all, but the last one I truly put effort into would have been the one before. Technically, I beat Unity. I hate saying that.
I'm at the end of Unity, and I've been at the end of Unity since
But Unity was
20.
the- what was the one before Unity?
17.
Syndicate. Oh, before it?
Before it.
Before?
Would have been the one that I
Rogue.
So it would have been
Well-
Rogue Black Flag.
Well, they were released together. but
Correct.
Yeah.
But yeah, Rogue Black Flag would have been the one that I put.
But you beat it when they came out.
Beat-
They didn't come out
the-
together originally.
No. What
did.
I'm saying is
Unity
when
dropped and Rogue dropped for PS3.
the
and
last
Unity was PS4.
the last Assassin's Creed game that came out, I bought and then immediately just tore through it was Black Flag. Because I bought Unity and it didn't work. so I didn't play very much.
Dude,
I bought Syndicate.
you remember the screenshots?
Oh
you
my
probably saw
god!
it
Of
for
like
real.
no detail
Of the-
face, it
of
was
the
just
skin
muscular
coming
structure.
off,
Yeah.
Ugh.
Mrs. Felix still brings those up whenever I'm playing
they're
Assassin's
terrible.
Creed.
They're really?
She
They're
goes, "Remember this?"
Yeah. This is never mind. I was gonna never mind. Doesn't matter. I played Syndicate and then realized that the map for Syndicate was just a copied version of the map from Unity, and it really pissed me off.
Wow.
Was it?
Yeah, from the shape to the street structure, all they did was change the layout, and they took the Thames and they ran it through the middle.
Oh shit!
But it's
dude.
the same map.
Never even saw that.
Same. The moment I opened up the map, I was like, "This is weird," and then I opened up Unity and was like, "This is really weird." And then I saw the Thames went right through the middle, and I stopped playing it.
Did you verify that London and Paris don't have a similar
They could
street
be
structure?
but at that point, like, yeah, I didn't go
If it
that
doesn't
deep into
feel-
my mayhem.
If it
He's
doesn't
like-
feel that
he's
different
like-
to the gamer, then it's not going to make it.
Yeah,
like-
yeah.
the brick in these two Assassin's Creed games is too similar.
This dude wants
I'm
to yell
not
at me about
playing this.
details. This dude wants to, yeah. But so,
definitely going down that road.
yeah, so
I thought you were going to tell me like Assassin's Creed Syndicate was a broke ass game. which
well,
it
no,
was.
I also dislike the fact that it sounds really terrible that I couldn't drop in, drop out between the characters.
I hated it.
There was like
Oh,
I had to
the
go to
two-
the
yeah,
pause
that.
menu, change characters, and then
Yep.
do it again.
Oh no! You know what I hated?
Huh.
When in Syndicate you would switch from the girl to the guy, and it's just like you're playing the same story.
I'm playing the
It's
exact
not
same
even
thing.
something
Yeah,
different.
It's lazy.
It's just it's as lazy
well,
as
as
Odyssey.
lazy as
Can I say you
Odyssey
guys
did the same thing.
You
Yeah.
guys have sold this game incredibly for me because I'm not fully done Unity, and like I said, I've spent the last 3 years playing one mission at a time every year in Unity, and I was like, I'm going to finish this game, and then I'm going to go on to Syndicate, which I have sealed, still wrapped in plastic,
I did
from a
finish-
Christmas gift from whatever year they came
Wow.
out. So
I
Holy
did
shit,
finish
that's
both
funny.
games. I
thanks,
finished both
you
games.
just really sold the
No,
shit out
I-
of it.
I did. So I didn't finish Syndicate, and then Origins came out, and I played a decent bit of Origins, and then I realized the map was too big for me to want to continue playing.
Right.
Because it was. The Witcher is a really good example. Like The Witcher is a game where
Ginormous.
so much stuff is happening, from like wind blowing and like tree sounds.
such a
and
windy game.
Such.
It's a wind all the time.
Like it's just windy all the time in The Witcher. But there's so much happening like at your eye level that like it's intriguing. But like Origins, I would ride for 20 minutes to nothing. Nothing was it was just empty space,
Damn.
which is accurate to
The
the world that you're
Yeah.
region you're in, but I realized I didn't like
Not
playing
fun to
that.
play,
yeah.
Yeah.
So I'm like I
That's some- what is
stopped that shit
Hammerfall
cold
from,
turkey dog.
Elder Scrolls,
Yeah.
original Elder Scrolls shit.
Yeah, and then Odyssey was the same thing. It had
Yeah.
the same layout, the same style, the same. So I skipped that one too. So like, I've been waiting for an Assassin's Creed game.
You
that-
skipped it, or you played
I
it. And
I,
put it
I
down?
played it for probably like 8 hours, and then I stopped.
Yeah.
Once I realized that like the leveling was the same and all that, I was like, I don't care about any of this. I'm just gonna stop. So, but I own them.
Well, I'm excited
About this?
to a degree.
Yeah, we'll see.
You know,
Yeah.
I want to finish the DLC for the one I'm playing currently, which is
I'm excited to see how far they've come.
Odyssey.
That's what I'm excited for.
Yeah.
Like I feel like it's just been not copy paste, but just like it's been intriguing, but not incredibly intriguing.
Yeah, it hasn't been enough to make me like dive in and want to play these games. I'm good
Yeah.
with staying where I'm at in Unity until something massive comes along, and then I'll feel compelled to catch up because of the story. Because that's
Hey,
where I'm at.
you're doing it much later, but like I played it much later. I
Yeah.
played Unity like I didn't play it in 2014 when it came out.
Oh, you
I
played
play-
it when it was fixed.
I played it in like 2016 or
Right.
2017. Yeah, it was
Patched
much
that
later.
shit like
Right,
crazy.
exactly. Well, that's when I was playing it too.
Yeah.
Still haven't finished it, but that's when I was playing it.
They
I-
presented that shit on a
All
platter,
that
I
I've
was like,
done,
it works now.
honestly, Trip, all that I've done in the game is complete the story. I
Yeah.
didn't do all the collectibles
Oh
like,
God, no,
like
I wouldn't.
did in,
I wouldn't.
like I did
If I
in
finish the
Origins.
story, that's
No
the
way.
end of my collecting. I'm
No
just
way.
done.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Whatever I got is whatever I
But
got.
no,
It's
but
is
even
what
the
it is.
even the side like mysteries you solve, like
I
those.
do
Yeah, no, I
those-
know. I'd be done. I'd be
You-
on to the next thing.
But you wouldn't want to do the mysteries?
It
In
felt,
that game,
it
no.
felt like
No.
homework, dude.
In that
Every
game, no.
time. That's
in Black
that's,
Flag, I wanted to, but in Unity, I didn't want to.
In Assassin's Creed suffers from both Assassins, they're both done by Ubisoft, and The Division suffer from the same problem, which is I turn on the game and I look at the map, and it's flooded with stuff to do, which you think would be amazing, unless it feels like I'm doing homework. Like I stopped at one point, and now I'm coming back, and it's whatever baggage I decided not to do before.
You know what? One of those games, and I honestly can't tell you which one, but there's one that features the ability to turn icons off on the map.
Yeah.
So you just find stuff.
It just is what it is. Whatever. And you know what? You had mentioned that a while ago when you played Skyrim.
I don't remember which one had it.
When you played,
I have no idea, personally.
I think when you played an Elder Scrolls game, you did that.
No,
you turned all the icons off.
Or
you turned the compass off, not the icons.
I know what you're talking about.
Whatever you were running.
No, I described. It was called.
I do remember this too.
It was called. What did I call it? I did it in. I did it in the new Assassin's Creed.
It was like in hardcore
No,
mode,
how I play. It's.
You did
proximity.
Proximity mode.
Proximity mode.
Proximity mode.
I play in proximity. If it's near me, I go to it. If it's not near me, I don't go.
Well, the problem with that is that Assassin's Creed added difficulty areas. So if you wander too far, all of a sudden you're in a level 30 area and you're like level 5 and
fact,
you're going to get your ass kicked.
New release rumored to not have that. And
Yeah,
just rely
that
on
was
the
better.
God.
That was also that was way better in Odyssey than it was Origins.
Pre-ordered.
So we'll see.
Pre-ordered.
Well, that's the news roundup, guys.
It was
Some leaks, some stuff,
some
getting ready
good
for
news.
the spring rolling through.
Can I get your quick take on, well, I don't know if it's going to be a quick take, but I'm
No
interested
such
to get
thing
your
as a
take.
quick
His quick take or mine? I'm never quick.
Your guys'
Combined take.
Your guys' take on something.
Go ahead.
I want to rewind back to the delays because Marvel Avengers got delayed as well, and it got a big delay. It's like a 6-month delay.
Yeah.
And every time I watch what's there, I'm excited to play it, but I'm not excited to watch it. And I'm interested to get your guys' take on how important the visual element is to the playability of the experience. So like whether it's Destiny or whether it's Fallout, because I know a lot of people talk to you about how buggy and glitchy the experience is, and it does not seem to deter you from the game that you're playing.
Well, not with Fallout. But it
well,
has with games.
Is that because you know the baggage that is carried with it? That historically Fallout games are buggy and glitchy games, so you don't necessarily care?
It's a part of the fucking appeal.
Okay.
Like,
so then my question is...
Nothing's been game-breaking for me. That's what I'm talking about.
So then
the PC was riddled with game-breaking problems.
Sure. So then I guess my question is, from the large perspective of the visual element or whatever the case may be, how do you define what is appealing?
Just in general, like to my own personal taste
Sure.
to a game?
If Destiny had as many problems as Fallout had, but you still loved playing it, how do you define what is appealing to someone who isn't playing?
Depends on why I'm talking to this other imaginary person, because I would take different strategies.
Sure.
If I am still playing a game regardless of its performance, and especially if it's performing pretty terribly,
Sure.
then there's something about that game that speaks to me emotionally or on a vibe level.
Yeah.
Which is really why, I mean, if we're going to use Destiny as an example, why I always was attracted to kind of the vibe of Destiny 1. Like, I could be there in Patrol, just loving the world they created, the environment, the sounds, the visuals, just the feel that I got while being there. And then everything else is just a cherry on top. It's just an amazing cherry full of raids and secrets and loot and all kinds of stuff.
Yeah.
But just being in the game by myself, I would enjoy doing. And that's what really gets me on a game. Like, do I connect to this? Do I enjoy experiencing it? Do I like how it makes me feel?
Yeah.
And that is like that's the seed.
Uh-huh.
I start there, and I can kind of like change my feelings one way or the other depending on how the actual gameplay affects that experience, the way the sound does, the soundtrack, all the things that kind of get piled on top of it.
Yeah.
For me, it requires to convey Fallout 76 to somebody. It requires 100% context. I have to figure out their context with Fallout and to know whether I can place them in the context that I'm in with Fallout.
Yeah.
For instance, I sold Fallout, not trying to sell it for any reason. I sold it by communicating the idea of what the most enjoyment I get out of it on a regular basis to a guy at work.
Yeah.
He loves first I established that he loves previous Fallouts.
Yeah.
Second, I asked him what he loved about previous Fallouts, because it's context is important. If you love the NPCs and you love the story,
Yeah.
this is not going to be a good sell. I'm not going to be able to, because they failed on that, admittedly. Like, they didn't put in NPCs, they didn't put in a narrative that you can follow. Okay, that's not exactly true. They did put in an epistolary story.
Yeah.
But not everyone likes an epistolary
Yeah,
story.
absolutely.
I'm used to reading things in Fallout games,
Yeah.
reading computers. And that's what I love. The most annoying part of previous Fallout games for me was the NPC story. That's why in Fallout New Vegas, when I could shoot everybody, I was pleased because I could kill the whole game. Like, I didn't want any of those NPCs in the world. I wanted to be alone and just play the game. I'm not kidding.
And they finally gave
did the same thing in Outer Worlds.
Yeah.
They gave me the ability to do it,
Yeah.
and I killed the narrative. I killed everybody. There's only 3 characters in Outer Worlds you can't kill. So
And he knows that from literal
scrap
experience.
From experience.
the search, discover, scrap, craft, grind is what I love about all Fallout games. And that's there. It's intact fully. So when I was pitching it to a friend recently, I said, what were you into? He said, I'm into like the scrapping and the crafting and the looting. I said, this is your game because you get to do that now with someone else. And that person gets to support you in that process. And he went, oh, I'm in. And then we played it, and he experienced exactly that because I was his support person. I'd already played the game. I supported him.
But you were able to curate that experience.
Yes.
Because you were his support
I
person.
definitely curated that. I curated it even specifically with the new Fallout First membership because he's playing in my private world.
Yeah.
So it's literally curated.
I guess that's what I find so intriguing because, like, I'm noticing that my fandom is changing as things are released, and as I'm also not the head of a podcast anymore, so like I'm not as critical. I also don't really care that much when certain things come out.
Right, yeah.
Like it doesn't impact me or make a difference. I also don't care like the vehicle that it goes through. Like Anthem is a really good example. Like I fanboyed over Anthem really hard, and I still play the game for that matter. I put at least I think I'm like 10 hours. No, probably 6 hours a week. In Anthem. To this day. Like I'll log on, I'll do about an hour of stuff, and then I'll get off.
No.
Yeah.
But you definitely have to frame when you're bringing that up to somebody who's asking about the game.
I don't recommend the game to anybody.
But you
enjoy playing the game.
never. What if somebody asked and said, "Hey,"
I would tell them not to play it.
Absolutely. How do you know their context is your context?
That's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is my context of the game is as someone who played it day one, who's gone through the experience and is continuing playing it, because I'm hoping that what they are promising is what they will deliver.
That's
thing I want.
Exactly why I'm playing Fallout 76.
Correct. These are our games. This is the bed we've chosen to lie.
We're waiting
The
for
service game
The
addicts.
difference, however, is that I know that someone coming in at this point right now is not going to enjoy the experience. I know it because
I
it's
don't know.
unfinished. It's like there's nothing there.
Yeah, I can't.
So whatever they're
going to
do on the back end is going to look very different than what's there right now.
I can't assess that with a person who tells me they're a Fallout fan. I can't.
Correct. What I find intriguing, especially about the Marvel game, because it's getting a lot of flack. It got a lot of flack for its visuals, and now it's getting a lot of flack for its gameplay elements. Is I'm looking at it as I've reached a point in my gaming fandom where the game I'm being presented, the thing I want to play, and the thing I want to present to other people are slowly becoming 3 different things the more these games come out. The Division, the game I want to play, the game that I got, and how I describe that to other people are 3 different things.
It's very true.
The game that I want to play for Avengers is literally, I just want to be an Avenger and beat shit up.
Well, that's the vibe. I mean, going back to Anthem.
That's what it's showing me.
I played Anthem, and I'm like, oh, cool, I'm Iron Man on an alien planet.
That's what it's showing me.
Sick. This is fun.
The game I'm getting, apparently, is that with RPG and armor elements. whatever that means.
Yeah, don't know what that means.
The game I recommend
For the Avengers game?
For the Avengers game,
Oh.
yeah. The game I recommend, however, could be neither of those things because historically for game companies, that seems to be the trend. And so that's the thing I find so intriguing going forward. And I'm asking this question because I don't think I'm going to be invited here for another 34 episodes.
That's not true.
But that's the thing I find so intriguing is like, is this going to continue where we get a product based on we see a product at a conference or wherever. PlayStation's not even going to be at a conference.
Right.
We get it, and then when we go to tell someone about it, if it's different than what we saw, how do we describe that? How do we recommend that? Because that's not the case anymore. I remember in PlayStation 2 days when you played Resident Evil, like, it's Resident Evil. What I saw and what I got were the same thing. And that's not the case anymore. I find that to be the most intriguing
think I don't
part.
really have your conflict in my life, mainly for one reason.
You play Fallout 70. That's all you play.
Yeah, because I just play Fallout 70.
And,
No,
and the
that's
show.
not what I
And
meant.
The show.
And the show.
And the
Sorry,
show
I
now.
forgot about the
Yeah.
show.
We're 9-8.
No. We're fucking 9-8, dude.
We're 9-8.
And about ready to lose. We're about ready to lose and be 9-9.
Hey man, 500. 500 is the goal in a baseball season.
We're in the seventh inning, and it's 9-8. The game is 9-8. Like the score of the game.
Think of it this. Just remember, this is your first year as a manager. 500 is big wins.
That's true. 100%.
This is your first year as a
That's
manager.
true.
That's
Big
probably
wins.
What I was saying is I don't think I'm having your conflict with my gaming experience because I guess I don't really put effort into understanding what the game. I'm trying to think how to say this.
You don't put much effort into which part?
I don't create a narrative for the game until I've played it in my own head.
Yeah.
Until I've actually played it.
Like until you're like
one
done.
thing that doesn't work on
that's
me
the
at
mistake
all.
we all make.
One thing that absolutely doesn't work on me at all are cinematic trailers for games.
Yeah.
I can't get any excitement for
I
any of
agree
that
with that.
shit.
I agree with that 100%.
The minute they drop a cinematic trailer, I go,
don't care.
okay, give me gameplay elements, okay? And maybe I'll get a little excited.
Then I guess the question becomes: once they give you gameplay elements, what happens there?
Right. Then if there are gameplay elements that I traditionally enjoy, either based on personal experience or something that
Something about
I
the
look
property.
forward to try
Yeah.
that I've never played in the game. You know, it's that balance between is it something I already played that I really enjoyed as a mechanic? I can't think of an example off the top of my head, but or is it a new mechanic that would be interesting for the like with Assassin's Creed?
So it's the game itself. It really doesn't matter what the game is.
No.
You just insert the
Yeah, like if they like for Assassin's Creed, if they say, oh, there's going to be like a cool hammer that looks like Thor's hammer or something that you use as your weapon instead of the hidden blade, I'll go, oh, that's pretty cool because it's a hammer.
It's a hammer.
It's new and
something
holy
new, yeah.
fresh.
Shiny.
Something new they did, you know.
But yeah, that's been my internal experience, and I'm always interested to get other people's take on where they are in their gaming journey, especially in a show space, because you have to analytically look at everything constantly, 24/7, 365. You have to do it. And so,
well, I think that's why it's important to be able to talk about
doing that part wrong.
It's important to know why
you have to
like,
read the note first.
It's important to know why you like what you like,
True,
but also to
very
keep
much
in
so.
mind that is you, and be able to talk to someone and have someone say that game sucks, and you can go, okay, either I know or I disagree, or I don't care, but I like playing it because I know that. Like, I'm not here to convince you to do that.
Yeah.
But I'm enjoying this or not enjoying this for these reasons.
It's the phrase I never utter in public is I hate Rockstar Online. Anything Rockstar Online, I hate. Doesn't mean it's bad. It's just any time I've played it, I've severely disliked it.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I think what you're talking about is the difference between stating an informed opinion and just stating a preference.
Correct. But to the example that I'm giving, every time I see a Rockstar Online trailer about some new stuff coming out in Grand Theft Auto,
Looks great.
it looks amazing.
Oh yeah.
Fantastic.
There's a new heist. You're opening up a club.
Come into the casino.
Exactly. Come into the
yeah.
casino. Do your thing.
I know what you mean.
And then I have to remind myself, I don't really want to go
You
back
and
and
I
play
both,
this
yes.
because it's Grand Theft Auto Online.
Yeah, you and I both. Like people try to convince me all the time these days while
Yeah.
I'm live. You love Rockstar. You love playing their games, but I've over the years
Yep.
I've attempted to play their online experience,
And
it's a fucking grind fest.
And here's the thing:
It's
people,
insane. I hate it.
people love Grand Theft Auto Online. Lose
Yes.
their shit over it.
Love it.
love
Love
their
it. They
shit.
absolutely
and Red Dead
love it.
Online.
And that's
Yeah.
absolutely fine.
Yep.
But this is my internal struggle with being a podcaster, being the host of a show, looking at the industry objectively a majority of the time, and tug-of-warring that with my fandom, in which I see something and go, yo, that looks really cool. But then I go, man, every experience I've had with Rockstar Online has been terrible. Does that mean it's bad? It means it's bad for me. So
Right.
how do I take that and then convey it to people to inform people? So I'm always interested. You guys are the only people who I can share this experience with because you do this regularly when you're in the
But
show. So I love picking your brains.
Is there anything wrong with this show? This show definitely has a bias. We have biases.
Oh, yeah.
Like, not everybody who's for
Oh.
instance, up until this point, this show, sports games, we were biased
Yeah.
against them. You know, like
just based on the fact of who played what.
we
Yeah.
never played them.
Yeah.
You know, like, so this, you could say that this show has a very, very specific slant in certain directions. Like Kyle was just telling me today, he hates episodes where you guys go on and on about Final Fantasy because he hates the game.
Right.
You know, and I can't
Right.
blame him for it, but it doesn't mean we
Yeah.
stop talking about Final Fantasy. You and Neo
Right.
and Locke love Final Fantasy.
Kyle, I love you. But, fuck off. We're gonna talk about Final Fantasy.
We have to.
we got a big year of Final Fantasy.
We got
coming up.
$180 worth of Final Fantasy.
Buckle
We
up.
got to spend this money.
Buckle up, bud.
Let's go. But yes, I'm always interested
Love
to
you,
pick your
Kyle.
guys' brain because no one else really has this experience,
Sure.
or at least sits in that seat
Yeah.
on this ride of the video game industry. And so I'm always like, hey, does this sound right to you? Because I don't know.
I feel you.
Oh, I
know.
definitely understand your perspective.
Yeah. Kojima says Death Stranding has nuance. Does that sound right to you? Because I don't think it
And
does.
Before we start next week's episodes, let's
Yeah.
wrap this one up.
Yes.
Guys, thank you for listening. I am Trip Zero. This has been a wonderful discussion with Diamond Jeb on this week's episode. Diamond Jeb, thank you so much for being here, man. Great to have you
flex
back
these
here.
muscles.
Great
Thanks,
to
bud.
chat, pick your brain, just bask in your presence, man. Absolutely love it.
Guys, I appreciate you guys. I'll see you in like 3 months, okay?
yeah,
I'm
yeah,
out of here.
yeah.
Oh, man.
Hopefully we can get it down to half a year. We'll see what happens.
a year.
This
your
is
people,
all my
Let's
fault.
We'll talk
go.
to, people will talk and figure it
Yeah.
out. I am Trip Zero. You guys can find me on streaming on Mixer exclusively, mixer.com/Trip0TV. All of my socials are Trip0TV, Instagram, Twitter. Follow me there. I'm very active on socials. I stream weekdays, 10 a.m. to 5 p.m. is the rough schedule. So stop on by. A lot of Destiny. Actually, some Sims. A lot more Sims as my second game. No Man's Sky, space stuff. It's good. It's fun. It's chill times. Me and Kevin Oates have some stuff coming up planned too as well. Some Halo action and some Resident Evil playthroughs as the new remake comes up. So stay tuned for that. Felix, you want to? Take it
Like
next.
my name, Felix Hergood on Twitter. It's Felix Hergood, all one word. You can catch that on Twitch and Mixer. When I'm live, I'm live to both at once. Definitely follow me on all of those platforms. And most importantly, if you enjoy our show and you just started listening to our show, please tell other people you know about our show.
That's true.
We've had a lot of growth in the past year. I'm proud of that growth, and I know it's happening because you just joined the show. So please tell your friends that we exist. And then don't forget about the Emerging Gamer Podcast Discord because it is growing. It's becoming more active, and there's constantly people in there. There's a technologies chat. There's a game chat. There's a movie and TV chat that
Whatever you
I
want.
always drop
Yeah.
into. And then, there's a chance to play with some of us in games.
If you guys find our socials, all the links to connect you to where you want to be are going to be easily accessible. So
Yeah.
find us. And then Diamond Jeb, plug yourself. Tell us about yourself. Send it out there.
Yeah, you can find me at Diamond Jab on pretty much every platform, Twitter, Instagram. I also stream exclusively on Mixer. I've been getting a lot of people, not begging, but asking for me to do more YouTube content, which was not something I was expecting.
You do have a good YouTube voice.
I literally threw a YouTube video, a lore video into the ether, and then it got 50 views, and I got 3 messages where people were like, yo, this is pretty good. And I was like, really? All right.
You got the voice for it, bro.
So,
for sure.
yeah, people have asked me, and I had some people in my inner circle who gave me some good feedback on it. So, yeah, you can catch me there weekdays, 9 p.m. Eastern, mixer.com/DiamondJab. Yeah, it's going to be a good time. So.
Cool, man. Again, thank you so much for coming out.
Thank you for having
and
me.
then
man. Love it.
everyone out there in the listening space, we'll see you next week.